Okay. Mic check 1 2 1 2. I am the Y2K collector, and I am back on this beautiful weekend just to kind of wrap the weekend up with some thoughts regarding where do I go from here with working on my collection, building my collection. Do I sell some of my collection off? Am I going to engage in trades? How am I going to be able to get some of the games that I want in the future with my whole game collecting slowing down? And then I want to kind of go over some more end of summer pickups. I know we're well into fall, but I did have some pickups that I hadn't had a chance to go over with you, so I figured I'd share them with you today. And why don't I start with those? So let's go ahead and get that kicked off. First one that I wanted to share is going to be Enter the Gungeon, and this is a top-down kind of like, it feels like a twin stick shooter almost in a way. Is a very cool game. It almost has a shmup feels to it. Feels like a shmup at times. I think it's one of those roguelike games where when you die, you start back at the beginning and you got to kind of start all over again. So this is a very cool game. Don't know why it wasn't in my collection from before, but glad I was able to pick it up and Enter the Gungeon. Pretty cool one there. Next up that we have some PS Vita pickups, and going with the whole retro vibes, we have Brotherhood United, and this is a run and gun shmup game that they have here for the Vita, limited edition. Wanted to pick this up. Looked like a pretty fun game. Feels like an NES, kind of taking it back, that whole retro feel, just run and gun kind of Contra style game. Pretty cool. And glad I was able to get it into the collection as part of my end of summer pickups. Next up, we have another shmup. If you follow the channel, you know I love my shmups. Here we have Habroxia for the PS Vita. This is another Vita pickup that we have here. Habroxia is a very old school NES style shmup. I do have Habroxia 2 on the Vita, and this is one. It was very hard to track this down, but glad I was able to get my hands on it and add it into the collection. All right, and then these last five, I talked about these last five briefly in a different video, but I figured I'd kind of showcase them here because I felt like that video was a little rushed. But I did add some games to my collection, and these are these types of games I've never purchased before, so this is kind of new for me. But I have dove into the world of Xbox, yes, and I went ahead and got the Avengers on the Xbox One. I just really like the way this game looked graphically, and when I buy Xbox games, I'm really buying them for the graphics, for the power. I'd really want to get the games on the Xbox that just wouldn't run as well on the Switch. So Avengers was cool. I don't even know if this came out on the Switch, but this is a very great looking game. I think there was some bugs with it, but hopefully those have been fixed, and I am looking forward to getting into this here. Just an action Marvel adventure Avengers game. Gotta love Avengers. All right, and then we have more Xbox, right? So we have Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Again, another great looking game graphically. I love me a good Star Wars game. I had The Force Unleashed on the PlayStation 2 and on the PSP. Played both those games. They were a lot of fun, and I suspect that this will be a ton of fun as well. So this is a nice little pickup for the Xbox. And Xbox games are so cheap, man. If I'd have known they were this cheap, maybe I'd have been on it all this time. But Xbox games are very affordable. Glad I could get into that. This next game is a game that I saw Radical Reggie, shout out to Radical Reggie. I saw him mention this game in one of his pickups videos, and this looked like it was the type of game that's just right up my alley. Tales of Arise, kind of like an open world hack and slash game, action RPG type game. Really excited to dive into this one graphically. Again, just a great looking game. Next up, we have one that I had to pick up if I was going to get into the Xbox, and that is Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I've got part 1 and 2 on the Dreamcast, and then Marvel vs. Capcom 3 on the Vita. So I figured I'd round out the series with the Infinite version on the Xbox One. So really happy to get into this. I know it's not going to play like Capcom 1 or 2, but it's a Marvel vs. Capcom, so we'll dive into it. And then the last game that I have here with the end of summer pickups is Azura's Wrath. This is on the Xbox 360, Capcom game here. Very fun looking, open world, kind of beat 'em up, hack and slash, but more beat 'em up style game. Looking forward to diving into this as well. And that does it for the end of summer pickups. Where do I go from here? So I think as I start to get a lot more selective with the games that I purchase, I think trades are going to come in a lot more key going into the winter months. I think patience is going to be more key. And I think I'm actually going to have to get up out of bed and start putting my feet to the asphalt. And maybe I'll hit up a few garage sales and try to see what I can do on that circuit. And that's just to find those fringe games that I think I may have missed in my collection list. But we'll see where it goes. My normal collecting strategies, which is pretty much me pausing everything. I haven't purchased any games here in about a week or so. But if I do find a game that I like, we will find alternative methods for continuing the collection. Let me know how you plan on collecting going into the winter months. These are some more end of summer pickups. Let me know what you've picked up recently. And again, I am the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.